Well, it's a very good evening to you, and welcome to the West Ham Voice on a late night, Friday late. I hope you can hear me because I've had to put the headphones on rather than using the mic because I've got guests on, and if I don't put the headphones on, I can't hear them very well. So I hope you can all hear me. Just give me a wave if you can. Gonna just talk, the usual thing on a Friday night. We're not going to have anything. I mean, obviously, there are certain topics that we're going to talk about, but with one of my guests, as you always know, whenever we start talking about something, it goes off on a tangent, doesn't it? So, and we always expect that. So why don't we bring him on and say hello? Good evening, Mr. Khan.
Guest. I'm a guest still. I
Well,
thought I had signed a contract for joint in hosting rights now.
Well, I do. I plaster your bloody website all over my bloody show. So I guess you're not a guest, really. I mean, for all I know, you could actually come on any time and do your own show, and I wouldn't, I would be none the wiser.
Perhaps I should do that.
We should do that,
We
actually.
should do that for a go, isn't
it? You will?
Yeah, sweating today. Proper graft, mate. Proper graft.
Proper graft. What, in the office? Oh, by the way, mate, Nigel has become an office boy.
I'm not.
You work in an office now? Is that right?
No, I was on a building site today. That's why I couldn't jump on.
Oh, right, yeah.
Dodging in between works. Me and an Arsenal bloke watching you and Dan do the draw.
How did it look? Because I never know.
Well, he weren't that impressed. He went, "What are you watching?" I said, "They're doing the draw." And he went, "What?" I said, "The Europe draw." He went, "Who's that then?" Oh, they're my mates. And he went, "What, you're watching your mates do the draw?" I went, "No, the people that thing." And he went, "You're fucking mad."
So it wasn't that he wasn't that impressed with our presentation skills. He just wasn't impressed. Full stop.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm not going to take it personally then. So we got quite a bit to talk about. Obviously, we learned today our Europa League, Europa Conference League opponents. Toughest group in the competition.
Well, if I knew what the other groups were still, I could sit here and go, "Well, yeah, I think it is a tough one."
All right. Well, guess what? Let's go through each group then, shall we?
So,
the first team, I can't pronounce their surname, so it's Istanbul, starts with a B. I mean,
don't get all political with us just because you don't want to pronounce them. Fucking hell, you and the Turks, you crack me.
What are they called? Bakshitir?
Something like that.
Oh,
I know they're the President's Club. So Erdogan, so that's Erdogan's team. Of course, they won the title 2 or 3 years ago, but no hint of corruption whatsoever. Just ignore the fact that they are Erdogan's team and that from nowhere they won the league. Yeah. That's it. Bakshitir. Yeah.
I got a mouthful of water.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
That's a fat war on me now, isn't it, by the Turks? Dear.
And then Fiorentina. I mean, if they are, how should we put it delicately? If they're financed well, then they should do quite well. Bakshitir, then shouldn't they?
Well, they've blown out our cold. To be honest, they won the title and they've not really done anything since then. Sort of normal order's been resumed at the top. Oh no, saying that, I think Trabzonspor, who are the Claret and Blue boys, I think they finally won the title. So there's a lot of to-in and fro-in in the last 4 or 5 years. Where before it was like Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, and Besiktas.
Yeah.
First of all, Istanbul and then Trabzonspor have sort of popped up. So obviously, whether the big boys have had financial trouble or whatever, I don't know.
And Bakshitir don't seem to have had any financial trouble whatsoever, according to you.
Well, no.
And then Fiorentina. I think a lot of people wanted to get Fiorentina. I don't know what, I don't think they'd be an easy team. So Fiorentina, I mean, they're a mid-table Italian team. They're kind of like a bit of like a West Ham in the past, aren't they?
I think they've won things though, still, haven't they?
I don't know, mate. I kind of looked at their history. I know they might have won a couple too, but that's about it. But nothing.
They've always been there or thereabouts. So I suppose I get what you're saying. Even though I've just showed everybody what I know about the Turkish league, I'm not. I mean, the middle of the the thing about these teams you got to remember is that this is sort of mid-table teams in their leagues that, or
Yeah.
not mid-table, but not the big boys. And let's see the strength for the Premier League. I think what spoils it is, I find the group stage exciting bit, but the problem is you just know what's coming in the future is the Europa League rejects.
Well, this is it. And how do you feel? Let's bring Dan on as well, because he may have a.
He's turned up then, has he?
He's thought
he's been at home all day.
Mind you,
he'd be late.
He helped me out. He helped me out immensely earlier on when my link to the draw was about 30 seconds behind. So I'm sitting there going, and he was going, oh yeah, now we got this team and now they've got that team, and everyone else in the chat was ahead of me as well. I don't get it. It's bad enough when we do. Well, I'm not going to do a watch along, but to actually think that I'd be actually on cue with the draw, and I was behind everyone else. But anyway, it's all the fun. So he got me out of a hole. He got me out of a hole. Unlike others who did say yeah and then didn't turn up.
I never said yeah. Don't fucking go down that road. I'd look like one of the village people if I'd have turned up with my hard hat and eye on. You could have been the Indian still. Yeah. I won't say what one you'd have been, Dan, but you'd have been down the Blue Lagoon nightclub.
Yeah, it's all right. Someone's got to do it.
We were just talking about
the team.
Dan, we were just talking about the teams where, you get through the group stage, and as Nigel just said, what's NAK for, by the way? What's NAK?
What do you think?
No, go on.
It's my initials.
Oh, fuck me. You're becoming all posh.
See, that used to be plastered all over the walls of...
What's that? What's the A stand for then?
It's a very posh name, obviously. Anthony, as my mother would say. Anthony.
Oh,
well, you asked me, it's Anthony.
Your working class credentials has just gone right down.
What, called Nigel? Fucking
hell. There's a lot of posh Nigels.
That's what I'm saying. My mum, she had visions of grandeur. I don't know what she thought bringing me up in Canning Town, but still.
Anyway, yeah, we were just talking about the teams, and then you get through the group stage, and then all of a sudden you got the Europa League teams sort of, being knocked down. What do you make of that, Dan? I mean, is it a fair process? Should it be that way?
I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is, but it's always been that way, hasn't it? Well, it's been that way since the Champions League changed the way that tournament was played, because obviously the third place team in that drops down to the Europa League, doesn't it? So I don't know if I don't actually think it's fair. Top two spots go through. If you're not good enough to finish top two, then your competition should be over, shouldn't it? But
it feels as if the competition starts again when those teams come back in, doesn't it?
I feel like they do it to kind of just give the competition some grandeur. Like, say, for instance, Real Madrid go and have a terrible Champions League. They finish third and they go down into the Europa League. There's eyes then, and they're on the competition. Maybe they don't think the teams that are in there are good enough. I don't know, because anything can happen.
Yeah,
that's
but
the trouble.
What you get, the thing is, I think it was Zagreb. Zagreb last year lost in the Champions League qualifier. Yeah, so drop into the Europa League. They then did they not finish third in that group and drop then into the Conference League?
Mm-hmm.
So you had teams that actually played in all three European competitions.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
Now, is that right?
That seems a bit much, doesn't it? You're getting three chances there, a chance to win something.
What if one of the teams that's just been knocked out of the Champions League qualifier and has dropped in the Europa League? What if they go on and win? I don't know whether Roma were in it or did they drop in from, whether I must admit. I know Roma won the tournament, obviously, beating I forgot who they beat now. I know they beat Leicester in the semi-final.
Final in the final?
Yeah, final in the final. So, but, for me, it don't seem right that a club that can play, Champions League qualifiers in August can win a tournament in May after being knocked out of two tournaments.
Two tournaments. It almost kind of makes a mockery of the competitions. I get why UEFA do it, because it prolongs it and it kind of it's more money in it for them, more games. But the old-fashioned way of playing these European competitions has died, hasn't it? But because of money, it's how do we extend this? How do we prolong it? And how do we keep the interesting teams in it,
Well,
or what they deem to be interesting teams?
The trouble
if they
you've
get
got
knocked
as
out of
well
one
still,
competition.
if they change the rules of the Champions League again.
Yep.
Well, I don't think that comes into effect for a couple of seasons, but they've changed all the rules to that again.
I think it's starting next season.
Apparently,
two
teams
one,
get in based on their reputation.
Yeah. Well, there was a big hoo-ha, wasn't there, about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they want more teams in it. So
it's weird. I think it kills the competition in some way. I think it's a shame for the teams that have to. Many will argue that, well, the teams that drop down, they've been in a group competition, so it's on parity. But I think the teams that really sort of get through these stages, to have to then face other teams that no one has faced in the same competition just seems.
But this tournament is. And when I first heard, I thought, another European tournament. And you think, well, there used to be 3 European tournaments when we were kids. So
yeah,
and in a way, I think, why not spread the European experience to teams lower down in their leagues, or teams that don't naturally qualify? This is not really a cup for the likes of the Premier League and whatever. This is more of a way of getting whoever RFS are,
Riga.
So yeah, so look, what would they ever qualify for a European tournament?
No, but let's say, for example, let's
Viborg. Who'd heard of Viborg till we drew them?
Well, true. But let's say let's take Riga for example. Let's say by they play out their skin and they win this group. Okay, let's say, and then they got to face, I don't know, Real Madrid, who dropped down from whoever drops down for Europa League. It's not fair on. It's not Arsenal. All right, we'll take Arsenal.
Man
it's
United.
Not fair on Man United, but it's not fair on them, is it? They would have.
You say it's not fair on them, yeah. But don't you think that a team like Riga would actually love to have Man United turn up into Riga? What's Riga? Estonia, I think Riga.
Well, a really good example of that is
Latvia. Yeah.
A good example of that is the team that got drawn with Real Madrid and Bayern and Barca, weren't it? Was it Plazen or whatever? Vittoria Plazen or something? They've just been drawn in the group of death, haven't they? With all the big clubs, Inter Milan, Bayern, and Barca. And there was a video doing the rounds today of the team watching the draw, and they're buzzing. Yeah. They can't wait,
because they got the big teams.
Yeah, because it's big clubs.
Yeah. I'm not saying it, but it's not the non-league teams that draw a Premier League club in the FA Cup third round.
Fair play. I see that. And while we're talking about money, Kent's asked the question: what do we think of the pricing for the 3 home games? And you've got to buy a ticket by Tuesday. I mean, it's typical. It's what most clubs do, isn't it? It's the minute they get the opportunity to sell the tickets, they will do.
Have you seen the pricing? Have you seen what the pricing is for your seat still?
£80, including the £2, £2 fucking quid.
£2
admin fee. Yeah, fuckers.
Okay.
So it's £78 plus 80. I like, because they advertise it as the cheapest style. 42 quid. It starts from 42 quid for 3 games.
I knew we wouldn't get it for 42 quid.
That. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was like 78 quid plus 2 quid fee, admin fee. 80 quid, I don't know, it works out to what, 26 quid a game?
We pretty much paid that last year, didn't we?
Yeah, for Europa League.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll throw something in here. What you got to remember is that we have the stadium for 25 games, 19 league, and then normally we'd get a friendly and cup games. Now we've already got a league cup game now against Blackburn, so we've got the 19 in the league, 20 with Blackburn, 23 now already. And we've not gone further in the League Cup. We've not had the FA Cup, and we've not gone further in the conference. Now, for every game that we play, we've got to then give £300,000 to rent the stadium. So, it's one of them things with the pricing. It's 22 quid. I think mine's 66 quid. It's 22 quid. I don't know. It's a bit. It's sort of they give with one hand, but take it away with the other, because they give it with one hand, and then they say, "Oh, but give us your money now," and you've only got 4 days to think about it.
That's a bit shit, isn't it?
And it's when everything we've all been told what we've got to start paying in October for our electric bills and everything else. There's a tough battle that's going to go on.
Yep.
Between people's wages or wallets and what people can, pay out.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, you guys, any season ticket holders in the chat, tell us what you think of the pricing. Let's go back to these groups then. So to finish off, that there's Istanbul,
Yeah.
Fiorentina, Hearts, and Riga. Hearts difficult for them. I know, Dan, earlier you said you would love to get either Hearts or Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, it just would have been nice, wouldn't it? I think get one of them. Yeah, I think Fiorentina have got to be the favourites in there, surely.
Even though Istanbul
they've got European pedigree, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. And people were saying in the chat, their history, they've won the league a couple of times and so on. Let's do ours last. We'll scoot through the others. Villarreal, Hapoel, Austria, Vienna, Poznan. Villarreal are laughing, aren't they? They've put their C team out and they'll probably win that group.
Well, I don't know.
Them a disservice.
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah. I bet Poznan won't be easy.
Don't know anything about them.
They all jump up and down backwards, don't they? That's all I remember.
Well, no, because they're the team.
They're the ones that invented it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Took it from them.
Oh, okay. And then AZ Alkmaar, Apollon Limassol, Vaduz.
I bet you wanted them still, didn't you? Eh?
I won't lie to you. I said to Dan earlier on, I would love to have got Limassol because I'm going to be out in Cyprus in October, and all I was thinking in my head was holiday. I'm going to miss a game, but maybe I won't because we get Limassol and I'll just pop over and watch them. But no, wasn't to be. And Dnipro and Vaduz. I don't really honestly know. I mean, all I know is that football in Cyprus is not top level by any stretch of the imagination.
What's Dnipro? Are they the Ukrainians?
Yeah. They're Ukrainians, and apparently
where are they playing?
Well, this is it. Because
I was reading up on this because we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? Still, because you weren't sure. They're playing without fans, so it's behind closed doors.
Oh, right. But they are playing in Ukraine.
Yeah. It's just in closed stadiums
in Ukraine.
But it's all in Kiev as well, isn't it? Because I don't know if Dnipro. I know Shakhtar obviously is right on the front line, so there's no way Shakhtar Donetsk can be playing home games.
Yeah, I think it's all neutral, isn't it, at the moment? But they have returned. The league has returned, but it's all behind closed doors, basically.
So, I mean, what we're saying here, Alkmaar, I'm guessing they're the top seeds, so kind of think that maybe that might be a written for them, but I can't really say. I can't honestly say, hand on heart, how much better the other teams are. And then this one, Ghent, Mold, Shamrock Rovers, and Djurgårdens. Ghent has got to be the favourite, no?
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
You
know anything about the other teams, Nigel?
Mold, I believe, are the team of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, were they not? So Norwegian. I think they've done a bit. I think they've made a couple of infrequent appearances in Champions League and Europa League. So I don't know about for a while though. Shamrock Rovers, obviously in the Republic of Ireland, and then Danish Djurgårdens or Swedish.
They're Swedish. Yeah, Swedish.
Yeah, all the same to me.
And then
that bit of the world.
Group 6 probably. If there's the next hardest group, it's probably this one: Partizan, Cole, Nice, and Czech club Slovácko.
Yeah.
So that would be a bit tasty because was it you? Didn't you say earlier, Dan? You thought that teams like Nice would have been.
I was just surprised. I was surprised their coefficient put them in pot 3, considering how high that league is up. on
Yeah,
sort of
but it's
league coefficient.
coefficients, European coefficient, isn't it? So, we got into pot one because of our run to the semi-finals last year. So that's how we got into pot one in this.
Right.
Nice, I don't think have really appeared in Europe a lot. Obviously, they're bankrolled by Ineos, man. I've forgotten his name now, but the bloke who says he wants to buy Man United.
Oh yeah.
They've just signed Schmeichel in goal.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of other players, good quality
Aaron
names.
Ramsey and
Yeah,
Nicolas
Aaron.
Pepe, weren't it,
Yeah.
on loan?
So let's see how they do. Cologne, not bad start to the season. It was a good start, a good season. Well, good season. Think he's not getting relegated recently for Cologne. But they actually finished. Obviously, I think they finished 6th or 7th to qualify for this, which is their best finish for a good few years. Tough team. Their striker Anthony Modeste has gone to Dortmund for the year. They've bought him, Dortmund. He was their striker.
They got him as a didn't they? Haller replacement.
Yeah, he's sort of because of Haller. Dortmund signed Modeste, who blows hot or cold. But last year was one of his better seasons in the Bundesliga. He's a striker I thought could have done well in England, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got linked with a few English clubs at one point,
Yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah, the
yeah.
name rings a bell, yeah.
He's about
Yeah.
30 odd now. But I mean, obviously, I've got my Cologne flag scarf over there.
Beautiful little city as well. We went through
yeah,
it when we were going to Frankfurt.
So, it would be great for me to go back to Cologne and watch West Ham in the knockout stages.
And Andre, thank you for your email. I did get it. Sorry, I've not responded yet, but I will do over the weekend. And then Slavia Prague, Cluj, Romanian team, Sivasspor, the Turkish team, and then Balkany. I can't remember where I said they're from. Jesus,
They got the tiniest ground, though, haven't they?
Is it Balkany that got the time? The one where it was just they got a
it's
got
just
a
like
ground
one
that
stand.
15, one stand, 1,500 people. But I said to Dan, you could probably get another 3,000 just standing around the racetrack or the racing track, the running track. It kind of like it's a bit open. I think the best one though, Dan, was the team. Was it Punic?
Yeah, when at
the one
sports
that's
centre.
got the sports centre. That was weird. But this one, Slavia Prague, Cluj. I mean, Turkish teams, they can be tough to beat, can't they? So might be an
Who's
interesting
Turkish?
Sivasspor, the
Sivasspor.
Turkish team.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
All right.
See, I think Prague will be up for it just because the finals in Prague, isn't it? So I just think there's an extra incentive when that's the case.
Yeah. And then the final group before we get on to ours is
That's
Basel.
not the Prague team that Krutensky's got, though, is it? Is he Sparta?
At
Or
Sparta
is he
Prague.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
That would have been a problem. No,
Well,
don't know.
No, because I don't think he owns enough of West Ham
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
for it to cause a problem.
And then the final group: Basel, Slova Bratislava, Zalgiris, and Punic. I mean, Basel have got to be favourites.
Yeah,
there. I
you'd
would
imagine.
imagine.
Yeah.
So let's go to our group because I do think it's the toughest group. I mean, and maybe I'm going by reputation because I've had quite a lot of since we did the show earlier on, Dan. I've had a lot of messages from Stow fans, saying if we get a draw, that would be a great result for us, etc. So maybe I'm kind of looking at our history with these teams rather than the present. And Anderlecht, as we know, beat us in the final in '76, and we did play Steaua Bucharest in 1999, I think it was, where they beat us 2-0 or over 2 legs in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
So when you look at these teams from the past, maybe
Steaua obviously won the Champions League in its previous format, the European Cup. They beat Terry Venables' Barcelona in the final on penalties. That should have been Venables' crowning moment at Barcelona. Obviously, I think they're the biggest club or were the biggest club in Romanian football for years. Obviously they fell a bit from grace. I remember a few people that knew people went out to the Bucharest game in 1999, and their night didn't end well. Yes, let's just say that the local gendarmes were not so welcoming.
Oh well, there goes that opportunity of
so
going to watch them over there.
It's one of them where Romania's I don't know, Bucharest, it was supposed to be a lovely city. Romania is supposed to be a lovely country. A lot of these East European countries, though, you're going in a bit blind, and not everything is as shiny as it is on the brochure.
Yeah, because Romania is not that rich a country, is it?
No.
It's quite a poor country.
No, but I'm sure Dodsey will be there.
He will. He absolutely will. I had a look at these clubs, so let's have a look a bit more in depth in these clubs. So, formerly Steaua Bucharest, FCSB. I said to Dan earlier when I was doing the
why
research.
Why have they changed their name?
Let me get to that.
Because obviously, I think Steaua Bucharest, is that the police team?
It was the Ministry of Defence.
Ministry of Defence, yeah.
There was some kind of fallout, and there was a court case, and it was about people being owed money or people taking over the club, and it wasn't. People weren't agreeing with the ownership, etc., and it went to court. And the only way to settle it was the club changed its name. There is another Steaua Bucharest that plays in the first division. So formerly Steaua Bucharest, which is now FSCB, play in the top league of Romania. But there is another Steaua Bucharest, which is a smaller team playing in their first division. But yeah, there was some fallout. I read it, and I won't lie, I got bored after reading it about 5 minutes. It was like, this sounds all a little bit too complicated and way too political. So they changed in 2017. But the club itself, you can look at them. League winners, record number of times. Romanian Cup winners 24 times. European Cup winners in 86. Super Cup 86. They had a good season in 86.
Well, that was the year they beat Barcelona.
Right. Yeah.
So 86. I think a lot of that team would have gone to the World Cup in Mexico as well. I'm pretty sure they were there. Hadji would have been. I think he may have been around that time, 86. I know he was there in the 90s, but as you can see, I think they've probably won the league title more times than any other club in. So what's their stadium though? Is it still the same stadium they used to play in? Yeah,
I believe so.
It is,
because I saw, I don't know if you noticed it in the chat earlier on, Dan. People were messaging going, "You got the wrong stadium," but I don't know which club that was for. They're saying, that's not it. So my understanding is that this is where they're still playing. But I
would imagine it is, because we had a lot of Steaua fans in earlier, and they were all saying we'd struggle to get a ticket.
Yeah, in a 55,000 capacity stadium. Yeah. So that's them. So maybe we're looking at sort of their past and sort of thinking the Steaua Bucharest of the past. They're honours at the moment. They were league runners up last season. So yeah, maybe
this is the strange thing. So they're league runners up, and they've had to go into the Conference League, not the Europa League.
Yeah. So I don't know if they were one of the clubs that maybe went to the Europa League and got knocked down. I know there were 10 clubs.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because there was a lot of that happened, wasn't it?
They could have been one of them, yeah. And then Anderlecht. Again, we've got a history with them. Look, Andre
Mihal Fatu. I said your name right, Andrew. He's watching. He says we are playing in this stadium, but it's not ours. So obviously he's from Romania.
Right.
There you go. So
right.
He as he says. So.
Okay, but that is their home ground, I guess.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful stadium. And then we move on to Anderlecht, and we've got the history with them. Now, Dan and I were surprised at their capacity. I thought they would, for a team of their stature, I thought they would have had a bigger ground. But
well, they used to play in what was formerly, I think it's the King Budawine Stadium now, but we will all know it as Heysel. Obviously, they changed the name of it for obvious reasons. Which the Heysel Stadium I've been to, it's in a park. So funny enough, we'd have been used to that. So I don't know then if they must have moved out, whether this is a purpose-built stadium or it's a stadium that they were in before and moved back or whatever. But in the 70s when we played them at Heysel, that was Anderlecht's home team. That was Anderlecht's home ground.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, obviously they're the team of. I have got an Anderlecht pennant somewhere. Yeah.
Trust you. Thought he would have something to do with
Well,
that.
I used to go to Belgium a lot as a kid. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, we used to go to Brussels a lot. I've been to Brussels for days out.
It is that close, isn't
No,
it?
it is. It's 2 hours on the Rattler, isn't it? So,
yeah, we're already planning. The minute we find out the dates,
yeah,
we're already planning to go. And their history as well is superb.
Yeah.
34 times Belgian
Our
league
biggest-
winners. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, sorry, they're by far the biggest club. Though in recent years, obviously, Club Brugge have been the team in the Belgium league. So, and Anderlecht, I don't know what happened. They fell away. They were like mid-table a couple of years ago. They brought company in. I don't know how much he turned them around, to be honest. I don't even think Anderlecht were second. They may have been third or fourth. So
Yeah, because I looked at what achievements they had last season, and so they must have finished. They must have finished at a relative level in the league in order to qualify for this competition.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're probably the two, if you want to call it, hardest clubs that we're going to face. But by the comments that, and thank you to the Stow fans who have been commenting, by most of their comments, they're kind of suggesting that they will be happy with a draw. Is it past glories with these two teams, with Stow and Anderlecht, rather than anything being the here and now?
Probably. They're still big clubs, though, in their countries, aren't they?
In their
That's how you got to
countries,
look at
yeah.
it. So, and I was saying to you earlier as well, still, cup football, anything can happen, mate.
Anything could happen.
We've seen it before with us, Astrid, Gugu.
Yeah.
Lives horribly in the back of my mind.
Twice.
So anything can happen. And that's why I don't think you can write anybody off.
Yeah. And then, of course, we come to the dark horses, Silkeborg and neighbours of Viborg. Apparently, it's only 40 kilometres or 40 miles down the road. And another nice stadium, but a very small stadium. 10,000 capacity, 6,000 seated. And their history, they've been champions, Superliga champions once back in '94, First Division champions, which is our championship equivalent, a couple of times. Danish Cup winners 2001, Intertoto Cup winners '96. Again, kind of like past glories. And I don't want to. I'm not saying it in a way to belittle these teams, but I'm trying to put it in context as to what we're facing. And I remember when we got the draws last season, against the likes of Rapid Vienna, etc. We were saying that's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. But we kind of made. I don't want to tempt fate, but we kind of made quite easy work of it, didn't we? In the group stages, are we expecting much the same? Is it going to be quite easy work, or
you would hope?
Like you say, you don't know what to expect in a.
Well, look, Silkeborg, Viborg, I called them the dog and duck. So what's Silkeborg? The Golden Line? I don't know. If we're talking the pub league.
The pub.
So what are they? Danish? They're Danish.
They're Danish.
Yeah.
Someone
So
just put up here.
That league's
the
dominated by
rivals of,
Copenhagen, isn't it? And
Michelin, yeah. So listen, Silkeborg shouldn't really bother us, especially up and running. Viborg, the home leg. Funny enough, I thought Viborg played better at our stadium than they did at their own.
Yeah,
ground.
I think they did. Yeah.
But is that we're growing into the season and we're getting better. If you
Well,
get,
we're going to talk about the season in a minute because
if you
people
get
have been
what I
talking
drift.
about
So
that.
there's that situation to it. I don't. I mean, I don't see Anderlecht. I mean, Anderlecht, lost their manager, lost Cullen, who was one of their, I think he was their captain and one of their better players.
Yeah.
So it's a different Anderlecht to what they had last season for a start as well. So there's nothing. There's no reason why I can't see us winning that group.
Yeah. Epic. Fleming said Aalborg is his team, which is another team around that area. They're all Borgs. What does it Borg stand for? Castle. Anyone know? No?
Asking the wrong person. I only just about speak English.
The only Borg I knew was Bjorn, and I think he was Swedish. So.
Oh, how uncultured we all are. Whilst we're on,
well, what you got to look at up that way, though, I know is Amlet's, where Amlet was set.
Right.
Of course, where Viborg was Jutland, part of Denmark, which was famous for the Battle of Jutland in the First World War when we sunk the German shot. No, it was, and the reason I know that is because I went to school in Canning Town, and the school was by Jutland Road. And my mate lived in Denmark Street, and that's why they were called that, because of the Battle of Jutland and everything. Right. See, we learned everything. We did. I paid attention to history and geography. So I'm good with old maps. Whilst
we're on cup competitions, let's move away. So the feeling is, general consensus is, this shouldn't really be that. We don't want to tempt fate, but it shouldn't be that difficult. And then we got the League Cup. I still call it the League Cup because I can't remember who's bloody promoting it anymore. Blackburn, 8th of November, we're drawn against them. Their current form, we know that they want to, they tried to get promotion last season, didn't succeed. At the moment, they're lying 4th in their league, 1-3, lost 2, goals 4-6, but they're a bit leaky. They've given away 7 goals at home.
They've just got a new manager, haven't they?
They just got a new. What's his name? The ex.
John Dahl Thomason.
Yeah,
John Dahl Thomason.
Ex Newcastle, AC Milan.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were a bit harsh on. They had. He's called Moggy. I'm trying to think of his name now. Ex
Mowbray.
Yeah, Mowbray. Yeah, they call him Moggy. He was a Middlesbrough boy. So yeah, the fans were a bit disappointed to lose him. He'd been there for a good few years. I think they were just outside the playoffs, were they not?
They were.
I think Blackburn, they'd sort of flitted around, which is pretty good. Still owned by Venky's. People may remember them, the chicken shop people in India.
Do they still? Do they really
still
own
Blackburn?
Jesus.
The people that sacked Sam Allardyce, so they've always had my love.
And guess what, Nigel? You're going to get a chance to talk about Big Sam later on.
Oh, am I? Oh, yeah. But he's we'll skip his.
We'll get to that. To that. I mean, this game. I mean, it should be. It won't be easy, but what are we looking for? Are we looking for a cup win this season? Are we looking for a cup?
Can I ask Dan a question? Because still I put this in a group, and some of the people in. So, cups or league, Dan?
What win
this season? If you're looking at the team that we got, would you rather finish 6th or 7th, or would you rather win FA Cup? What would you concentrate on?
I would honestly always take a poor league position over winning something, mate.
Right.
Always. I've never watched us win a cup.
Yeah.
So it'd be honestly.
Forget how young you are, mate.
If we finished 17th, but we won the FA Cup, that's unbelievable season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was saying to Stell earlier, I really want us to go all out for the Europa League Conference, because if you have a bit of a poor season and you say you finish like 10th, 11th, 12th, but you win that, you're in the Europa League anyway. So you're still in Europe next year. You go straight into the group stages, and we get to watch the team lift the trophy. But yeah, for me, a league position doesn't go in a. You can't put that in a trophy cabinet, can you? So
No, yeah, good point.
No,
Good point.
and you don't put we finished third in the stadium honours board, but we put when we win the cups. No, but what my theory is that there are people that think that we should concentrate on the league, get a better league finish.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But what is the end point to the season? Now, if the end point of the season for me, progression is constant European football. Ideally, we'd want to be Europa League. Are we going to be top 4? I don't really think so. So therefore, say the best position we're going to achieve is 5th. What do we get for finishing 5th?
Yeah, you just get Europa League football, don't you?
So why not try and win the FA Cup and
get it anyway?
Win the Conference League, and get the Europa League.
And the experience for the fans as well. You know, we're not going to be doing a celebration down.
You've got to think of what that does for players.
Yeah,
winning stuff. You know, there's you look at some of the players that throughout time perennial winners. Obviously they're part of good teams, but you know, my brother's a Man United fan, so I grew up with him literally loving life and you know celebrating Fergie winning everything. And
but you enjoy his misery now, though, don't you?
I do now. Yes, getting my own back now. But yeah, do you know what I mean? So he's experienced that. But you look at that team; they're perennial winners. Win one, they went and did it again. Yeah, they had a top class manager, but I do think it's important. Players need to know what it takes to win stuff.
It's funny, mate. My brother's a Man United fan. And he used to call me because I won't lie to you. Watching Man United throughout the 90s and getting to the Champions League final when they did the treble, etc. I must admit they played really exciting football, and I remember watching the early stages of Champions League when Man United were virtually the only English club always qualifying, and seeing how they developed over the years. You know, they got knocked out in the early stages and then got through the group stages, and then they might have got through to the quarter final, etc. And it sort of culminated in them winning it, and it was exciting football, and you do have a bit of envy. You know, and it's what you say, Nigel. You know, you get to a point where you go, they're winning, and that winning mentality all of a sudden helps you in the league as well, doesn't it? You know, it starts. You know, hopefully that's what it should do. It should start the cycle, continuously winning stuff.
I mean, nobody mentioned the end of our league form at the end of last season. Nobody really mentioned it or was worried about it. Because we had such a great European run. It's been mentioned more in the last 2 weeks. And our end form at last season has been mentioned more in the last 2 weeks than what it was at the end of last season when we weren't doing well in the league.
Yeah.
Because we were so wrapped up in the Europa League run.
Yeah.
So
let's just a quick one back on Silkeborg. Apparently the pitch is artificial there. Does that bother us?
Well, we're not going to smoke it, are we? So I don't think it matters.
And Andre's asked this question: what would you guys choose, the Premier League or win a UEFA trophy? I think you got the answer there, Andre. I think it's like what you both said. It lives on in your memory, doesn't it? Well, unfortunately, Dan, you're too young to remember, mate. But
mate. There you go.
But it does live on in your memory, and you're right. I mean, in 5 years' time, we're going to go, "Whoa, that was a great season when we finished 7th." We won't.
We will if we don't win a cup.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, you know, if we win a cup, it's going to be like the cup is there. It's like you said, it's in the trophy cabinet.
I go into every season hoping we'll have a cup run. I don't go into every season thinking, I really hope we break top 4. I always just go into every season just hoping we have a cup run and we get to a final, and I can do it again. Because the last cup final I went to, Gerrard broke me heart. So. You know,
so you're expecting, isn't it? Me, I always go, give me a semi-final, and I'm happy as Larry. I used to want a semi-final and stay in the league. But Kent earlier said FA Cup for me. You know, still I've said it before, time and time again. You know, I want to win the FA Cup. Best competition. I'm a bit of an FA Cup buff anyway. I've just been sorting out my FA Cup final programs that date back that I've got. So and my full-size replica of the FA Cup that will come out in January and then be put away when we get knocked out.
I'm going to turn the question. Go on. Yeah, go on.
So yeah, Moose got stick the other day because he did say on Talk Sport, I'd take relegation.
Oh yeah, I see
whatever,
that.
and people were abusing him like anything, and a few of my mates say the same. Where I'm like, mate, relegate me all day long, I don't care.
I'm going to ask a question based on what Ken said. Right, out of the cups, and I know most of us will want FA Cup. But out of the cups, FA Cup, League Cup, or Europa Conference League, which one would you want the team to go for out of the three competitions? FA, League, or Europa Conference?
I'd want us to win the FA Cup because it's the one I love, but the conference gets you more because it gets you Europa League.
FA Cup takes you in what? In Europa Conference again?
I don't think the cups give you what they used to.
Yeah, no, the FA Cup gives you Europa League qualification.
It does give you Europa
qualification.
How it works is top 4 Champions League, 5th spot Europa League, FA Cup Europa League, League Cup gives you conference.
Right.
Now, what muddies the waters now is the problem we've got is that the top 4 keep winning all the cups as well.
Yeah.
So therefore, 6th and 7th spot go into Europe now, where actually only guaranteed Europe is top 5.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see us win the FA Cup, but I think if you're looking at it from a team standpoint, winning the Conference League, gets you an automatic Europa League spot, doesn't it?
To be a bit boring, I'm gonna, in a way, I'm sort of gonna agree with Dan here. FA Cup, fantastic, but then you think to win a European trophy, now we've got 3 FA Cups, so let's put a European trophy.
We got one,
and actually, I think the best thing for this tournament was Roma winning it last year.
I think it gave it credence.
Because you saw what it meant to Mourinho.
Well, yeah, he took it seriously, didn't he? And that's the thing. If a manager of his pedigree takes it seriously, then
and the thing we've never done is, and I think that's because of the power of the Premier League, is that we've always turned our noses up at the Europa League, and now this cup we turned our nose up at that. We laughed at Tottenham. It was the Tottenham Cup, wasn't it? Last year, and they couldn't even win that.
Well, I was saying to Dan earlier, they deliberately, they deliberately came out of the cup to focus on the league, and it worked for them, But it was a gamble. It was a gamble. I
think the fact there's so much on the line with Europe now is why teams take it more seriously as well. You got to think you win that Europa League, you get a group stage spot in the Champions League. That's massive. Like Frankfurt won it. Where did they finish in the league in the end?
11th or 10th.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They're in the Champions League, finished 11th. So,
and that's a league of 18 as well, not 20. 18 teams.
Yeah, they didn't do. Yeah, they focused, and that was another gamble, but it paid off. It paid off for them.
Coming soon to the Premier League in 10 years' time, people. They've always wanted it.
I know it'll happen
18,
sooner or later.
The big boys don't want 20 teams. They want to,
and they'll stop relegation as well at some point. So
no, they'll keep relegation, but they'll fight to have 2. I think.
Or get rid of the playoffs.
Well, that makes a lot of money, doesn't it? So
yeah, well, it'll be 1 down, 1 in the playoffs.
All right, let's move on from cup competitions because obviously we got to. Actually, no. Do you know what we're going to do? We're not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about transfers just yet because it's fucking getting a bit boring. But I'll tell you what we are going to talk about is. Do you want to try and explain a little bit about what you sent me the other day? Because we've had a conversation about it. I mentioned it to Dan earlier on. Actually, found it interesting. But I'm not going to tell people what the outcome is. I think maybe we might leave that for a more when we've got time to dedicate more. But it's all about this. It's all about who's the best West Ham manager. And people have their opinions, don't they? And people look at it, Of course it was Lyle, or of course it was so and so, and of course it was. And I've deliberately I mean, I know there's other managers that I could have added. I added your favourite, of course, the man in the middle.
It's the one at the end that cracks me up.
I know. I was just going to say. I love the fact he's put.
I sort of know why he's done it, but it's quite funny.
And because I've left one person out deliberately, I've left him out.
Yeah,
you know, because we're gonna do a special show on this, and you've got to you haven't developed your own formula. You've taken a formula that's established.
Well,
Is that correct?
no, this is my own formula.
Oh, it is your own formula. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
So basically, what I wanted to do is, is there? I'm not a mathematician, but then I was wondering, is there a mathematical way to go? This is the best manager. How do you do it? Amount of wins, amount of goals scored, but then you got to look at it as well. Is a lot of our early career was spent in Division 2 or the second, let's call it the second tier of football. How does that compare against playing in the top tier? John Lyle managed us top tier, second tier, top tier. How do you work it out? Points accumulated, but then you got people that played under 2 points for a season, 3 points for a win for a season. John Lyle, so had a period where he played top flight manager for 2 points a win and then got relegated. But then when he came back up, it changed to 3 points a win. Mm-hmm. So basically, this is how I came up with it. And people can, we've all got our own ideas. And the manager you love is emotional. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to try and take the emotion out of it, put aside my hatred for Allardyce. Because believe me, I wanted to leave his name blank. But I thought that would have been really fucking nitpicking.
Hang on, Howard. The reason why I put him in there is because it winds Nigel up immensely. Don't for a minute, mate, think that I thought Sam Allardyce was our best manager ever. I did it on purpose.
Yeah. So,
but go on, mate. Yeah.
So the way I did it, and I split it as well. I split it into league managers and cup performance. So what I did was we've had 17 managers in our history. That's all we've had since 1900. In fact, technically since 1902, because for the first 2 years, the team was picked by committee. So Sid King weren't appointed, I believe, till 1902. But then we didn't join the Football League till 1919, and we weren't promoted till 1922 into the top flight. 22 or 23 into the top flight. I think it was 23 actually, the year we got to the cup final. So the best way I looked at it is I went through everything. So I looked at amount of games they played, amount of games that they won, they drew, they lost. I worked out if there's 15 managers, if you've got the best wins per game. So I looked at the amount of games they managed and the amount of games that they won and divided it. And whoever came up with the best win percentage got 17 points. And the bloke, Avram Grant, who got the lowest win percentage, got 1 point. And I did that for each of the charts. So I did wins, draws, losses. I did goals per game. Goals conceded by game. Now, if you conceded the most goals, you got 1 point. If you were the best, obviously conceded the least, you got the 17 points. And there, that way, you could work out over, so there's 15 actually it was 15 because only 15 of the 17 managers are managed in top flight football. So in the league, there was 15 points for the top. So the two that never managed in top flight were Lou Macari and Charlie Painter. And then I did a separate chart for the cup. Obviously, all 17 managers get a crack at that. I looked at all the cup games they played in, used the same formula 17 points. But then I awarded 20 points for winning a cup, 10 points for getting to a final, and 5 points for a semi-final. Because you got to reward the managers that do that at the end of the day. And you know, still look. You've seen the spreadsheet.
I've seen it.
You've read it. Anything in there without giving it away? Was you surprised? Maybe in the cup bit.
Yeah. Yeah. In the cup bit,
I look forward to doing that one. Actually,
I went. You're fucking kidding. and when you explained it, I went, fair play. So the best cup manager surprised me immensely. But the best Premier League manager, no, actually, you know, if you look at it, if you look at what you know, if you look at the history, I think people are going to be shocked. I think people are going to go, no fucking way, because I think you're right, because emotion will take over logic. And people are gonna question it, and that's why when we talked earlier, about trying to explain the formula, because people need to understand the formula and take and take the look at
take
it
the
logically
emotion out of it
rather than emotionally.
Try and say is it'll be a good show. It'll cause the debate.
It will do.
And but it takes the emotion out of it. And actually, who is? I mean, what I'd say to Dan is, obviously Dan's younger, so he's not tainted by winning cups. You've not had the glory that we've had that when we were kids. So
exactly,
as a manager, bearing in mind you've never seen us win anything, tell us who your favourite manager was. What was it?
Well, people are saying already in the chat, there's loads of saying about Pardew, Harry Redknapp, obviously Lyle. Some comments about Greenwood as well. So, and even one or two about Slav. And when you actually look at that, you do. And I don't, I'm sure people have got very valid reasons for saying, why they believe a certain manager is the best manager. Redknapp, for example, etc.
And Redknapp's the one that lingers most in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah,
because I think Redknapp was the one that was there when I was subconsciously really, really getting into football. So Redknapp's the one that
So
really
how old was you then when Redknapp was manager?
When was he appointed?
94.
So I was 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9.
See, I got a theory that actually is that your love and your heroes and everything are from when you was a kid.
When you were a kid.
Yeah, because actually you love football for being football. And as we've got older, we've become more miserable and
you become so much more cynical at a game, don't you?
We become and everything that actually we lose something in growing older, that that emotional attachment to football, which, my first season we got relegated, I didn't care. When we was walking out against Liverpool, I do remember saying to my uncle, does that mean we got to play somewhere else? I did not understand what relegation was. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went, no, we'll be back here in August. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I was happy.
Took me to my first game because majority of the family on my dad's side are all West Ham. My dad's a weird Newcastle fan, isn't he? Because he used to travel up north and spend a lot of time up there when we were younger, driving lorries and whatnot. So he became a Newcastle fan. But majority of the family are West Ham. It was my uncle that took me to my first game when I was about 7 or 8, I think. So it kind of got my uncle to thank for following West Ham. We're Tanners anyway, so it was going to happen.
Hang on. Let's not get into that debate. Are you actually a true Towner?
No,
or is he? No,
who? Proper, yeah.
Me,
proper.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the only out of towner here. Anyway,
quickly, who's seen the Mark Noble documentary?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it. All right.
Is he an out of towner?
Well, no, he's not an out of towner, but there is a strange thing that come in, and this is where I can be, still very pedantic at times.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and Mark Noble, Canning Town. There are 2 words that 4 words that go together. Yeah, we all agree. Mark Noble and Canning Town. The club love to tell us he loves to tell us.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't really know where Mark Noble grew up. I'm a lot older than him. I watched the documentary the other day. I watched a bit, and he's in Jenkins Road. Now, when I was a kid, my mate grew up in Jenkins Road because I went to school and played in the fields that Mark Noble played in as a little kid, and that was in Plaistow.
Uh-oh.
So he went Royal Dock School. We can argue whether that's Canning Town, but everybody from there will go, well, that's Custom House. And ask your mother-in-law.
Yeah, that's where she's from.
She's from there. You
Yeah.
can tell the difference between a Canning Town girl and a Custom House girl, because the Custom House girl wouldn't take her chewing gum out when smoking a fag. You can tell Lorraine that.
They like to tear up, don't they?
I'm glad it was a clean one. I'm so glad it was
like a bit classier than Custom House. Don't laugh, because people from Plaistow look down their nose at us from Canning Town. So they had bigger trees down their roads. But then this is the thing, because where Mark Noble was, Jenkins Road, my sister-in-law lives down the alleyway. He was filmed standing down. He said, I played football here. My sister-in-law lives there. My father-in-law lives on Prince Regent's Lane, round the corner. It was bloody Plaistow. Well, where's Canning Town come from then?
Uh-oh.
Marky boy. Come on, dear, oh dear. It was at a speedo. I'll tell you what. I will say I did love the documentary. I thought it was.
I've got to watch it.
100%.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Watch it, and while I'll never forgive him at Burnley, I think I've got over it.
Quick question for you, Nigel. If Pardew had won the 2006 final, how would you have rated him?
I think he would have probably been in the top 3.
Joan wants to know, is it Redknapp, Pardew, or Big Sam? It's none of them. I tell you what, people will not like the answer.
One of them might be in the top 3. One of them.
Yeah.
Joan,
then Greenwood. Yeah, I think I think people are going to be shocked. People are going to really dispute it. And it's going to be interesting though.
Clear winner though, still, isn't it?
It's a fucking clear winner, mate, by a fucking long margin.
It is a mad one though, because I've got to be honest, the favourite manager has never been something I've really thought about with West Ham, or just in football in general, because they 9 times out of 10 they're so throwaway managers, aren't they? I fell in love with players. Julian Dix was the first player that was just the be all and end all for me. So yeah, it's always been more players than it has managers. So it'll be quite interesting actually, as and when you do reveal.
John, yeah, it is actually. It is a private members club over my side in Mayfair. Right. Let's move on to the last bit and keep everyone happy, shall we? Should we give them an exclusive? Do we have any exclusives at all? Nah, we ain't, have we?
No.
But you bastard. You know more than you let on, Nigel. But anyway, Lucas Paqueta, from what we know, it looks like what do I know? But it looks like it's a done deal. 50-odd million pounds, 5-year deal, etc., etc., etc. It's been. Are you guys? I mean, did you hear the David Moyes interview today? The press conference when he said something like, "We maybe have signed too many players." I mean, what did you think of that comment when he actually said it? I mean, what went through your heads thinking about the fact that we were already short of, the squad was already short last season by a couple of players. The players that were on the bench, like he knew weren't necessarily going to change things around. So we needed a rebuild, didn't we? And I know, Nigel, you always talk
quickly,
about
one thing. Another thing. I just want to answer. Simon Rogers says the best manager was Trevor Brooking. Trevor was only a caretaker, so not involved. Yeah, neither was Kevin Keane, and neither was Ronnie Boyce. But sorry, go back. So
Moyes said, I think we've signed too many players, and does he have a psychological block on having?
I think that's Moyes shitting himself that he's now got a big squad of players
decisions to make. Yeah,
I just think because he just likes working with such a small, condensed number of players that he trusts, and now he's got this depth and this squad, and he ain't gonna have that. I don't think he's gonna have that freedom to just sit people on the bench, because the people that are going to be sat on the bench now are talented players.
He's got a job on his hands, hasn't he?
Going to be difficult. We're going to really find out what his man management's like.
Nigel, what would you make of it, mate?
You know, there's a bit of me who thinks Moyes is a wily old fox. He's telling the press some old tale that he's a load of old baloney and he knows it. Yeah, that he's actually misfeeding them deliberately.
Do you think so?
Information. Yeah, I do. I don't think he ever. I don't think. Look, at the end of the day, they're contractually obliged to do these bleeding press conferences before games and after games. If you sat down and went to the managers, do you want to do this? I bet I'd go 90% of them would go, no, I don't want to do it. Yeah. But they're contractually obliged to do a pre-match press conference, like on the 24 to 48 hours before a game and then after a game. So, you know, after a game, it's easy. You talk about the game, innit? Before the game, you get all these hacks who want to throw out questions. I don't take it with a, you know, when he turns around and says, "Oh, I don't know what's going on. I have to listen to Sky Sports News." You know,
that was really taking the piss, wasn't it?
Well, of course it is, because at the end of the day, he knows the press manager at West Ham, and we know the press manager at West Ham's feeding Charmet, whatever his name is, the gossip. Mm-hmm. So, you know, where before the press managers wouldn't deal with the press, the new press manager has
gone a complete reverse.
It's gone. Well, he won't talk to you still, but
no. Well, I'm on his list. I am on his list.
Oh, you're on his list. Yeah,
I am on his list, but he doesn't give me a lot. I'll be honest. He doesn't offer too much.
Yeah.
But I get the press releases early, which is good. About 5 minutes before it goes live.
Yeah.
I don't know how the managers do it. It's the same old questions every week, isn't it? Really, the majority of the time. They should all just do what that the Seattle Seahawks running back used to do, because they're like contractually players all in the NFL. They're all contractually obliged to do press conferences and meet with the press and whatever. He used to just sit there and say no comment and just eat his lunch. And he just every question no comment. And he'd get fined by the league constantly because he never used to turn up. And then he basically got to a point where he's just like, I can't afford the fines anymore, so he'd just sit there and eat his lunch, say no comment.
Nigel, Chris is agreeing with you. Jenkins Avenue shows up as Plaistow on every link. It's E13 and Canning Town is E16.
Yeah, listen, I used to walk Jenkins as a kid all the time because the school I went to had two buildings, the lower building and the upper building. So and Jenkins Road was the route from the lower building to the upper building on Prince Regent's Lane.
So basically, you've just called Mark Noble an out-of-towner.
Well, it was a bit of a strange thing because I didn't know. No, because Plaistow's obviously a tanner. Yeah, but what I'm just saying is that, you know, even in the documentary, Mark Noble, born in Canning Town, and if you think when Mark Noble was born, Newham General Hospital had been opened. Well, I don't know when was Mark Noble born? Someone tell me what year?
How old
is he? 34, isn't he? 34, 35?
35, 34. Yeah.
So that would have been 86.
Yeah, so Newham General Hospital was a brand new hospital then, which is just round the corner on Jenkins Road. So as far as I remember, in their 80s, we'd given up women making women give birth at home. And they went into hospital and did it. So, he would have been born in Newham General. That would have been Plaistow as well.
He's an out-of-towner.
So, you know, people say, where was I born? I was born in Plaistow.
Hang on. And then, so why are you so hung up about, you know?
No, but everybody was born in Plaistow because there weren't an hospital in Canning Town. I had to be born in Plaistow.
That means you're all out-of-towners then.
No, but then where's my house, the house where I lived and brought up in, well, I lived in about 3 or 4, but they were down in Canning Town.
Right, so Grasham's saying, I reckon he meant a bigger turnover of the squad that he would rather have liked. Do you think that's what he meant? I don't think that's what he meant.
Maybe. It is a big turnover, to be fair, isn't it? It's a big change.
We
A
knew
lot,
this was
a lot
coming,
went
didn't
out the
we?
door, though, isn't it? And this
We
is the
knew
thing.
that was coming.
Yeah,
We knew it.
we
Yeah,
got a
but
better squad than last season.
You know what the
though.
trouble is, though.
Yeah.
Still, usually you do this in small chunks, but we were left with no choice because we had an already small squad. Then we lost 4 or 5, so he had to go out and get 7, 8 players, didn't he?
But
Left with
many
no choice.
people, and I'm included, would look at January and go, if you'd have bought 1 or 2 then, it wouldn't have been so tough now. You know
What though? To his credit, he's been very open about January.
He has.
He said the money was
Yeah.
there. He just didn't. He didn't have the players that he wanted, and he weren't going to just buy for the sake of buying.
And then this,
he said it
this
numerous
goes on
times.
to the type of players that we've been after. Because I mean, when people were laughing when people were saying going after Phillips, we're going after Darwin Núñez, we're going after
Rafinha.
Luis Diaz, etc. And everyone was saying, why are we going for these sorts of players? You know, they're well beyond our reach. Why are we even bothering and wasting time? But
it
that's what
proves
Moyes wanted, isn't it?
But it proves what an inflated market January is, because we bid more money, according to Moyes, for Phillips than he eventually went to City for. So it just shows you how inflated that January window is.
Yeah.
If
And
you
then
believe we bid for him.
So then this takes us back to Paqueta. So, you know, from what we understand, you know, the deal should be, we thought it might have got done today, but apparently it's going to be done over the weekend. How do we feel about this? First of all, do we think it's, you know, is it going to happen, or is it going to be another one of those, he's too big a player for West Ham United?
Well,
And if he is too big a player for West Ham, what does that say about West Ham United, about attracting this level, this caliber of footballer?
But this is the caliber we need if we got really going to push on. That's the caliber of player we need. The more I read about him, I'm a little bit worried about him playing centre mid.
Why?
Because he's a flair player and he gives the ball away a fair amount.
Yeah, but his best position's on the right side of mid, apparently.
Left coming in.
Oh, is it left side?
Yeah, left-hand side coming in. But I reckon he'll play Cam. I reckon he'll play him through the middle behind the striker.
What about you, Nigel? I mean, you know,
How old is he?
24. He'll be 25 tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow, the day after.
The thing is, if you look, we could, we're a gateway club to the Premier League. Yeah, for these players.
Yeah.
So, if we can
People won't like that, but it's true.
But that's a fact, because at the end of the day, let's face it, if Payet was 4 or 5 years younger, yeah, we'd have sold into Man United for millions more than what we sold into Marseille. Yeah. The one thing with Payet was he did come to us at, what was he, 28 when he came to us. So he was 30 probably when he left. So he's got age on his side. If he can rip up the league like Payet did, you know, we could be selling him for 80, 90 million. But that's but at the end of the day, yeah, we've just had a £150 million window. Yeah, because I do think we'll get this Paqueta or whatever his name is. What's his name? Paqueta. That's it. So we'll have spent 150 million quid.
Well, with him, we'd have gone to 107. What did we say earlier today, mate?
Yeah, 173. I think.
Is that with add-ons? Is it? Because I don't count add-ons.
It is.
I live in the real world. Yeah,
you know
not Sean Whetstone world.
I've seen you on Twitter giving him so much shit. Stop adding the add-ons.
I think even with add-ons, that takes about. I think even with add-ons, it actually does take about 20 million off price. Yeah.
So, and this is the thing. So, if we spend which funny enough to give Sean credit, Sean always said we got £150 million budget. So
and we've spent it,
and we've spent it, and that was 50 million in January, 100 million from last year. The extra performance, you know, people don't realise how we get the money. Is the club always budget for a 10th place finish. So if you finish above 10th, the extra money is supposed to then go into the transfer kitty. Then you've got the cup runs as well, adds extra money in, extra games, extra ticket money, everything. It built up the pot, 100 million. The thing is, we can't do this every year. So if you look at Newcastle, you know, people can scream financial fair play, the one thing Mike Ashley did for Newcastle was he bought nobody. Yeah. Financial fair play is done over 3 years. I think you can lose £300 odd million. Well, Newcastle haven't been losing money for the past 3 years. So actually,
they were told they could spend 230 million.
Yeah, and not be anywhere near it,
and be fine.
And not only that is that by putting some of the players on 5 and 6 year contracts, they can write the contracts off over a longer period. So in the 3 year window of financial fair play as it goes, it actually lessens the value of the contract. So they're being quite clever in a way. So when you look at it like that,
that's why a lot of the contracts are having options added as well.
Yes,
so it'll be 5 years plus 2.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons they're getting around it as well.
So it's good. It's a good caliber. We bring Paqueta in, another attacking midfielder. Funny enough, it was possibly the place where generally fans didn't think we needed a reinforcement. Yeah, because
it's an odd one because you kind of look. We thought we were well equipped there, but then
we've got a lot. When there's a difference between well equipped and a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because
I would now we've got Paqueta. I'd love to see us play 4-3-3, and
I think that's got
4 now is Paqueta, Rice midfield.
I was reading about why he didn't do well in Milan, and they were playing a system there where I think they were playing like a 4-2-3-1 or whatever it is.
The trouble with Italian football is it's defensive as well, isn't it?
And it's very defensive as well. But he couldn't get to grips with that. He couldn't. But then he went to Lyon, and the manager at Lyon changed the formation apparently for him to a 4-3-3, and he flourished in it. And I think you're right, mate. I think maybe
we've got the players to do it. I think we've got the players to play a 4-3-3 are really effective, and it will help balance that centre midfield because we're getting ripped apart in there at the minute.
At the moment,
I think Kevin asked a question. Sorry, I think statistically, players do better coming to this country from France than they do from any other country.
Didn't know that. Kevin's asking the question: does this signing mean Declan will leave this summer?
No, I think he's going anyway.
Yeah.
And Savio asked a question earlier. Might forgive me, Savio, for not.
Savio, fucking hell. Where you been, son? Fucking hell. What happened to you?
Not that Savio.
13 years ago.
I can't find his question now. I think he asked, where do you think we'll end up this season? I think we kind of answered it in a way about, like to see us winning a cup, and if we finish mid-table, so what if we win a cup?
I just don't see the reason in going all out to finish 7th when actually it puts it. For me, concentrate on winning the cup because the reward there is even better. And that's the thing: finishing 5th or winning a cup. Well, if you win a cup, you've won something. You've got glory. The players have got medals. Rice may even think I quite like where we're going. Yeah, and the reward for winning a cup is the same as finishing 5th in the league.
I thought because what we said earlier on, you start building.
Don't put his stuff up, please. I have enough of it during the day.
In fairness,
having to put up with him again of a night.
Do you know what though? Still, that kind of comes back to what I was saying to you earlier about the pulling power of the Premier League, and because of the amount of money that is in the Premier League, even the mid-table clubs do have the ability, if they're careful for a couple of years, to go and splash 200 million.
Can I answer that? Sorry, quickly.
Go on, mate. Go.
Yeah, 2 words. Nottingham Forest. Now go away, Nick. Yeah.
Because buying. I mean, it does. I think maybe puts the pressure on Moyes in terms of what does he do with a bigger squad? Oh no, what does he do with a more? It ain't bigger. What does he do with a more talented squad? You said earlier on, Nigel, this is a better squad than last season on paper, without a doubt. It's definitely a better squad. We've got more talented players in. It's going to be. I mean, I know what a lot of people want. A lot of people want him to start every single new player. And I look at. I looked at the way Skamaka played. All right, it was only against Viborg, and we were talking about this earlier, Dan. Proper goal poacher and the link-up play and stuff like that. And then we know what's going to happen on Sunday. We know Antonio will start on Sunday, and people are going to be really fucked off with that if that happens. And I get it, because as good as a servant Antonio has been for the club, he's not a striker. He never has been. He's done well, but Scamacca will bring something different. So I think people are going to be looking at that and going, well, why is he buying all these players if he ain't gonna?
But sometimes still it comes back to the fact that like you shouldn't just have one starting 11.
No,
You
I
should-
agree.
I think
I
for
agree,
certain
yeah.
teams, you've got to have certain players that can come in and impact it. You know, I know Manchester City, obviously, their spending power is a bit different, and they're going after the league and whatnot. But if you look at Pep and his team selection for who he's playing, Raheem Sterling's just left because he didn't like the fact that he wasn't playing week in, week out. And Raheem still played 40 plus games last season, and yet he still didn't think he was playing enough. But that's because Pep has different systems, different combinations of players to combat different teams. And that's what I was saying to you about last season. We didn't have any players to come off the bench that could impact a game. Whereas now, I think we've got difference makers to come off the bench. Because you could go with any combination of 4 up top in the formation that he plays at the minute now, and it's going to be a strong combo of players. And then you're going to look to the bench, and there's going to be players that could come off the bench and do a job.
People are talking about Declan, and sort of there was one comment from Epic saying he's got an ego and, sell him and buy players who want to be here. I think Declan's demonstrated that he's shown dedication, hasn't he? Or
I actually think the biggest problem with Rice is I feel like Moyes is trying to accommodate him to keep him at the club.
I think so. We talked about this earlier because
if you look at the season when he was told to sit in and Souček did the graft, you look at the difference it made. The following season, Rice gets given free rein, box to box, can move around the midfield. Now, can't take it away from Rice. He's a very good player with ball at feet. He will move the ball. He does it effectively. But the problem is he doesn't score the goals that Souček scores. So that's a problem. So
and we've had this debate, and Nigel's smirking because he knows we've had this debate over and over and over again. But the one question,
is he not the type of player that you should accommodate? And this is where it comes down to. I hear what you're saying, Dan, about Moyes actually giving Rice's wings as such to go off and do more. Rice probably wants to be more attacking. Yeah. Rice obviously enjoys the more attacking role and whatever. But is he not the type of player actually that you do that to?
You know my thoughts on this, Nigel. If we sold Declan tomorrow and he went to City, United, or whatever, he wouldn't be asked to play box to box. He'll be told, you're defensive midfielder. That's where we want you to play.
The issue lies if he's going to play box to box, if that's what you want him to do. If you're the manager,
he's got to improve on his.
Then you need to go and buy a centre mid that will sit.
Yeah.
Souček isn't that player.
Yeah, he's
just
not.
Isn't.
And
he proved that he isn't.
And Paqueta won't be either. And even with the link to Club Brugge player Vanaken will be a playmaker. But he's not necessarily defensive Well, he's not a defensive midfielder, certainly with his goal scoring record.
Sangera at PSV was the one. If we were ever going to buy a holding player, Sangera at PSV was the one. And then obviously I think it was like 2 days later he signed a new contract, didn't he, to get rid of the minimum fee release clause. Or
Bissouma from when he was at Brighton. That was a surprise we didn't go in for him. SCW, good evening to you. We talked about the Europa League earlier, mate. We think it's probably the toughest. It's the toughest league of the 8, the toughest table of the 8. But I think we'll get through it. We kind of agreed we'll get through it.
You're too polite still. Just tell him, look, wait till it's finished and fuck off and watch the beginning. Turning up halfway through a fucking show.
Sorry about that, SCW. Eamon says nothing. Forest are spending the Premiership TV money and are hoping they'll stay in the Premier League. If they get relegated, they'll fall.
Yeah, I think that's the comment on me where I was going about Nottingham Forest, but that was a thing to Claret and Booze in the chat, Nick, who we know about spending loads of money.
They won't necessarily.
You're not a gateway club.
But they won't necessarily fail FFP because you get parachute payments. So
yeah, and it is over 3 years. So
Mandy asks, will the signing of Paqueta, if it happens, give the team a much-needed wake-up call before the Villa match? We saw how one new signing at Man United. What's the wake-up? What do we need as a wake-up call? I mean, if the Forest result had been different, you know, any other
just
day,
going to say the same thing still.
Yeah,
Brighton was
any other
shit.
day.
We can't sugarcoat it. Brighton was shit. I never leave early, as you know, still, and I fucked off 5 minutes early. I'm not putting up with this anymore. I went home, got on the train. I weren't putting up with it. We could have played
the best 5 minutes.
We could still be playing. We still wouldn't have scored. It was one of them. It was just one of them shit days at the office. But the Forest one is the one that wound me up because everyone had a meltdown on Twitter about it. But on another day, we scored 4 or 5.
We smashed them. We got mugged.
Yeah. On another day, we win that game.
Yeah.
So,
question for Nigel: Love Rice, but is he the captain in the locker room?
That's a tough one because obviously he's still probably one of the youngest players, isn't he? But obviously, I think he was the natural successor to Noble. We've had younger captains. I think Rio Coca was something like 21.
He was very young, wasn't he?
When we made him captain, and he hadn't come through the academy. You know, we'd bought him, I think, as an 18, 19-year-old. So it's something we've got to give him time to learn. You know, and just to trigger the Souček haters, Souček's got more attempts on target than any other player for West Ham this season. So,
but he's shit. So there you go.
Can't complete a pass.
No, Nigel's laughing because we've got banter going on. James, if Rice goes, well, it won't be this season, but who would take over the armband? Who would take over that? Because we know he's got 3 backup captains in Fabianski, Ogbonna, and Creswell.
3 of the oldest players in the squad.
3 of the oldest players who will all be gone probably at the end of this season because their contracts expire. Who would you give the armband to if and when Declan goes? End of next season.
Bowen for me.
Good shout. Dan?
He doesn't seem
captain material. Generally, I prefer a defender.
Yeah, but like Bowen just doesn't seem loud enough. He seems quite, I don't know, reserved. I feel like the captain's got to have something about him. Like we all see Rice as a bit of a character, isn't he, behind the scenes? I think Rice is struggling with the transition and not having Noble about.
Yeah, a lot of people
because Rice was captain. As good as captain, weren't he, last year? Because Nobes didn't play a lot. But behind the scenes, you know, you only have to listen to what everyone says. Nobes is the man. So, I mean, you might be struggling not having him about.
That does open up a can of worms, doesn't it? If you think about it, because the natural successors are actually all coming to the end of their careers.
Coming to the end of their careers. Yeah.
So, like Antonio coming at the, he is coming to the end of, his best years are behind him.
Yeah, I'm racking my brain. I'm trying to look at the team in front of me. It's
new boys don't generally come in and get it. Souček maybe. Even I couldn't keep his straight face.
And here's a question: Souček looks.
He's a leader in the middle, isn't he? Souček. I mean,
Souček looks a world-class player when he doesn't have Declan next to him. Discuss that because
that kind of comes back to my point, doesn't it? With Rice being given free reign, you know.
Yeah.
Although Souček didn't look good. Souček didn't look good last night when Lanzini was next to him.
No, he didn't. No.
Different player second half.
Here we go. Souček has one trick. He meanders around the pitch playing fruitless 1-2s with his girlfriend and just hangs around the 18-yard box. When he plays, we are locked into a shit style of football.
I don't know why you put his comments up still. I would just leave them over in the chat. Just leave them over in the chat.
Trouty, I'm still gobsmacked with the stat about French players betting in better. I'm actually surprised by that, to be honest with you. But I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Well, but we've had a few, haven't we, from there?
We have.
Paqueta come from France. Sacco come from France. No, both decent.
And this season,
you look at the French. You look at the French players that have come over here, even into the top flight. The Cantonars, the Henrys, Petit, Vieira. You know, you can name a whole squad of French players. You try and do that from Germans, Italians, or Spanish.
Mm. Yeah, interesting. Epic reckons loudest players on the pitch, Areola and Dawson, but even Dawson could be
He's
gone.
another one.
Well, there's the one. Perhaps it is there, Areola.
Areola.
But I'm not a fan. You know, I'm not a fan of keepers being captains. I'm not a fan. I don't think they've got the. The only good thing about a captain is, I always think a defender should have it because he's about the pitch. He can get in the players, but everything's played in front of him. It's the same for a goalkeeper. As a goalkeeper, you see everything. When you're a midfielder or a striker, you see half the game because you're facing one way, or then you got to spin and then you face the other way. Where if you're at the back, you see the whole pitch in front of you, so you see everything that's going on.
Zuma.
Oh, no.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps a bit. Yeah,
he's almost by default, you know, because Ogbonna last year of contract, Creswell last year, Dawson
Zuma will
last
never
year.
get it. Zuma will never get it based on what happened.
What happened?
right.
But it almost happens by I mean, and then you said yourself earlier, you know, new players don't get it. Even Kerrer and players like that would have been there.
Do you
one
know who
season,
I think
but
might
they
get
don't
it?
get it.
A bit of a shocking one, bit out there. Fornals.
Oh,
He's liked.
yeah.
He's really liked.
And he's young.
Yeah, he's liked.
Yeah.
I think
But here's an interesting stat. One of the players who kind of like his form has fallen off recently is Fornals. Ironically, I was surprised when I saw that. It's like, you know, he's not as sharp as he was, and many will say that's because Moyes has turned him round from being a creative midfielder to a water carrier. You know, he has changed his game, hasn't he? He's kind of made him. I don't want to call it boring, but
a lot of people call him an hard work merchant now, don't they?
Yeah.
But this is what happens when you're an attacking midfielder / centre mid, and you get thrown out on the wing.
Yeah,
you're asked to do a certain job, and you forget what you were good at.
Okay. Anything else you want to chat about before we bid farewell for the night? We've done an hour and a half. It's not bad. It's midnight. It's already Saturday. Anything else anyone wants to? You're going to pick something here.
Yeah, nice. Looking.
Well, look, you know, we'd love to do a little bit of memorabilia at the finish. So what I thought, right, is I'm a big collector of the Corinthian models. So do you remember the Corinthian models? So what I want you to do is we're going to have a little game, yes. Yeah? So I'll pick 5, yeah, and we'll play Guess the Player.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I'll do my best. So
you know I'm going to be shit at this.
Yeah.
That's Oggy.
Name the player. If
no, it's
not Oggy.
It's not Oggy. It's Trevor Sinclair.
Oh, 1-0 to Stell. It's Trevor Sinclair.
I'm not going to lie, and I know it's going to sound wrong, but that looks a bit dark for Sinclair.
Yeah, it looked more like
you know what I mean?
Camera, didn't it?
This one.
I didn't mean it. Honestly, I meant nothing by that.
This is from the early years of Corinthian, and they were really good when they first came out.
Oh
my God.
So, name the West Ham player. I'll give you the kit. Right. So
Potts.
Potts. What are you going for, Dan?
Mate, I wouldn't know where to start.
When you started watching West Ham, maybe a bit out of years.
I don't know. That face don't look like anyone. No. That's the trouble.
If I said this was a title winning face.
Andy's got it.
Andy, what? No.
Oh, no?
I played it. No. This is a player that won the title and FA Cups before he came to West Ham.
They weren't daily.
I'll give you a clue.
What's that? I'll
give you a clue. Won titles and FA Cup. What am I pointing at?
You're pointing at yourself.
Right. Why would I do that? No right guesses. This is why I knew this would be great.
It's 12 for crying out loud.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking-
You ready? You give up?
Go on.
It's Nigel Winterburn.
Fucking hell.
That
That
don't look anything
fuck
like
off.
That don't
looks
look
nothing
anything
like him.
That is.
Of course, he won titles at Arsenal. That looks absolutely nothing like him.
So, on that basis, you ready? I'm gonna go at you. Ready? So here we go. Name that player.
Fucking, it looks like one of those dolls that comes alive in the middle of the night. Comes and stabs you in the
Come on,
throat.
people.
It looks like Suchek as a teenager, doesn't it?
All right, name that player.
Bilic.
Oh,
That's actually a good
Steph.
shout.
Yeah.
It's Slav. Look.
It's Slav. It's Bilic.
Oh, that's two. So we'll go with two more. Let's see. No, that's a bit easy. That one.
You should see some of the names that are coming out, like Cotty, Bishop, Cross, Daly.
Right, who is that?
Oh, that's the
That's Rio
ex-captain.
Coker,
That's
isn't
the
it?
captain.
Who's that?
Rio Coker?
Rio Coker.
There you go, Dan. You get one. Another Nigel. Rio Coker.
What a player he was for a couple of seasons, eh?
I thought, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
So I don't want to make it too easy. Let's see. Who's that?
Fuck knows. What are people saying in the chat?
Anyone?
Is he ex-Arsenal as well?
No.
It ain't. What's his name then?
Ex
here we
Liverpool.
go. Breaker?
No.
Ex-Liverpool.
Ex Liverpool.
Well, Ginger Pele didn't play for Liverpool.
No.
A lot of people are saying Breaker. Loads of people are saying Breaker.
Ex Liverpool.
Bellamy.
One of his clubs. Bellamy. There you go.
John got it. I only got it because
anything like
Craig
mate.
Bellamy.
They're really shit.
There
They
you
don't
go.
look anything like.
We got a last one. I think this is an easy one.
Yeah,
Potts should be.
Steve Potts. Well
Yeah,
done.
Potts.
So, I know that's the Winterburn one's got to be the
Winterburn one is so bad.
the winner.
So
Go on quickly. I want to see if you get this one because I never would. So who is that?
I know it ain't, but I'm going to say Ferdinand.
No. No. Nearly the right era, sort of right era, but no.
Hammerstad sad collection. Kevin Frankenstein, Daly, Christian Daly. No, it ain't Daly.
No.
Ain't
No.
Daly. No, it ain't Noble.
You ready? We'll finish on this one. No, it ain't Berkovic, ain't Di Canio. No.
Canio, no Berkovic, no. Go on.
No. Right, it's Joe Cole.
Oh my good lord.
They're bad, aren't they?
Oh, look, this is a tin that's full of them, and this is my tin of doubles. So.
Honestly, Nigel will one day arrange a tour of his shed, and I reckon you should charge people, tenner to walk around with a little tour.
Honestly, I see a little bit of it once when he was like moving the camera around, and you'd be there for a fortnight going through it all, wouldn't you?
You would. You absolutely would.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck me. No.
Is that Tony Cotty?
No. So it's mid-90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just based on how bad they are, just threw a name out there.
Mid-90s. Last one, honestly.
I've no idea. They were sandblasted. Who made these figures, Stevie?
Do you want to know who that is?
Go on.
Look, Elvis haircut. Who looked like Elvis? Look, sort of Romanian looking features.
Romanian-looking features.
Yeah, do you not think he looks a bit Romanian?
Not
No.
not rats.
No, good, because it's Mark Reaper.
Oh my fucking lord!
Just to prove you, look, the name at the bottom's there, Reaper.
Honestly, and they got away with selling these things. People like you. You know, oh, can I have one of Noble, please? There you go. Well, I guess it's got Noble's name on it, so that'll do.
So this is, just to show, this is, I've got my.
Jesus, you're getting from a point from being interesting to being a sad man.
Yeah, but these are the ones that are not in the blister packs, because I've got about 50 or 60 that are still in their blister pack.
Do you keep them all? Do you dust them down and everything regularly?
No, the blister packs are all set out on a beam that go along. I've even got Allardyce, believe it or not, but he's he's a mini. Yeah, he's in the blister pack. He don't come out. But yeah, it was just one of them. I thought I found them today, and I thought at the end of the show we'll have a bit of fun and just see. Can I just tell Russell? I did know Reaper was Danish. I just thought that that looked like Dumitrescu to me. But it was, the name at the bottom says Mark Reaper. Believe it or not, I joined a Corinthians Collectors Club, and people now repaint them into modern day players.
Oh, really?
That is quite funny as well. for certain reasons that I can't go into. But there are certain people that you think, well, it still looks like the player it used to be.
Just a different colour.
Or maybe not a different colour still. But we won't go there.
Won't go there. Those of them made by a Spurs fan. Lee says they see Nigel coming and starting clapping every week.
I bought them at auction, believe it or not.
He bought them at auction. I mean, there you go, people.
Job lot, I tell you what, right? It was one of them things that if I sold them, yeah, I'd probably make more money on them for what I bought them for. I think the people at the auction house didn't realise, because
I bet your missus one day.
Why do you think I sit in a shed at 140 foot away from the house?
Still, she sits indoors all the time, hoping that he don't die first, because she'd have to go through it all.
I did say to the kids, "This is all yours," and they went, "We don't want it, thanks." Before you die, can you sell it? Honestly, people are saying I've been mugged. I have not been mugged. This is one of the bargains where I'm probably up 600% on my outlay.
But you'll never sell it, so you're not up on it.
Well, I may, you never know. You never know, because I could probably sell this tin, and this will get me all my money back and more, and I've still got 3/4 of the collection that I bought at auction. It was a giant box that I thought, I'll bid for it. Do you want me to? I sent you a picture. Shall I quickly get what I bought the other day, which I still think I'm mad.
Not the one that you sent me earlier.
The picture of me opening it. Yeah. Stay there.
Fuck me. This is. Anyway, Eamon reckons that he should rent them out to other Claret and Blue fan channels, as they wouldn't have a clue on either. But this is funny. Where's it gone? Here we go. Chris reckons I've even got Allardyce, but he's hanging from the beam. I think Nigel will be with you on that one, mate. This is. Have you seen what he bought the other day? It's just fucking. He sent us a photo of look at this. He sent us a photo of a wrapping, and he went, "Guess what I got?" And he. But wait till the other one. Look, fucking Ian Wright. He bought cardboard cutouts of these two pairs.
Oh dear. I've got to stop. That's one of them ones where you think, yeah, all right, I've got to stop, because I bought them, forgot I bought them, won them at auction, and they cost me 30 quid. And so you think, all right, not each for the 2. And then they charged me £35 delivery. And then I think, well, that's one I lost on. And actually, at the auction, I didn't really want them. I wanted something else, and I didn't win that. And I was hoping to combine the 2 to make the postage cheaper.
So in order to not have wasted your time completely, you just went and bought something regardless.
Well,
there you go.
You bid for things, but some you win, some you lose.
Fo reckons you got a problem.
I have got a problem, people. Yeah, you heard what my missus said in the videos.
I have. Yeah. WHU wants to know where you got them from. There you go, mate.
Auctions around the country.
Right, that's it, people. That's a bit of banter, at least. Different on a Friday night. We are going to do them more regularly, and because I think it's good to sort of we can talk about the serious stuff, but we can have a bit of a laugh as well. Might need to have another laugh after Sunday. Predictions for Sunday. I know we haven't spoken about it, but what do you think? Same lineup, same outcome, or is Moyes going to do something different?
I think Moyes is people call him stubborn. I prefer the word perhaps loyal, and I think the fact that when you look at the team he put out Thursday, he will generally change it. 4 or 5 of them. Then that for me relates to Scamacca back on the bench, Antonio up front, Bowen out wide. I don't know. Emerson, I can't see starting, truthfully.
So it's going to be much the same as last weekend against Brighton, more or less.
Yeah. And the definition of madness is doing the same
thing over and over again.
That don't work.
Dan?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate, if it happens. I did see Scamacca come off, and I thought, "Oh, is he resting him a bit for Sunday?"
What
but
we said earlier.
The more I think about it, mate, and we know our
he was giving Antonio a run out rather than Scamacca a rest, wasn't he?
I don't know.
I thought Scamacca tired in the second half. I must admit, I know he got took. I didn't think he was. The first half I watched on the phone, so the second half I watched on the telly. So I don't know. Perhaps I just thought in the second half I didn't really see Scamacca. At times he had players further forward than him. So, but Ben Rama's the one for me at the moment when he's in form like that.
Yeah, he looks good. Give me your predictions, and then we'll bid everyone good night.
1-0.
Dan?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Well, I was there last season when we smashed them 4-1, and I'm going to be brave. I'm going to say we're going to win this 2-1. But let's see.
See, the thing is, they need it as much as we need it.
Exactly.
It's one of them.
Exactly. And they spent just as much money as we have, haven't they? So well, they bought as many players in. All right.
Yeah, but luckily still they got their business done early, innit? While we dragged our heels. Group chat people.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. We will be back with another late. I don't know when. But as the as the winter draws in, I think we'll be sort of, when we start, having cold winters, we're not going to be able to turn the heating on because we can't afford it. We'll be wrapped up in our blankets.
Mate, wait till you see me in the shed.
Wait
till you see me in the shed. Fucking won't be having the heaters on, I'll tell you.
Anyway, we'll see you all soon. Thank you all. If you're new to the channel, do all the usual stuff, etc. But thanks for watching, and I thank Nigel and Dan. We'll be back again soon.
And if you knew, not every show's like this. Some are professional, and that was.